if
Hey, well, the federal government
Yeah.
gives me money.
we are live. The
That's way too
intro
many
intro
intros
you
from
heard
him.
was
I think
Eloise
that's
and
way too
Brandon
many.
talking about things and or stuff. I've got
We're
Brandon.
talking about the importance of paintbrushes and proper maintenance.
Well, you destroyed them. It's your fault.
We did. They're dead.
You shouldn't have been a careless paintbrush keeper.
Oh, I like how squished we are. Nice.
I told you you'd be squished. You know who's full size and perfect? Brad.
Does this surprise anybody? Brad still doesn't know how to use technology after a year and a half of using
I
it.
do have a pink unicorn shirt on. We've got Kyle Trejo with us. He is known to know a few things about like 2 factions. So we were like, we're going to review 27. Let's bring him on. That guy knows.
He knows things.
He knows
What are
things.
those two? What are those 2 factions? What?
Sometimes Death Guard,
nope.
and then all the time.
No, you don't do
Demons.
either. You go assassins and
Inquisitional agents. Those are my fortes.
he's a specialist is all he plays. Let's talk. We're gonna start at the top, guys. We got if someone could tell me if there's anything different in the balance update, because they put up a balance update and there's no change log, so there might be something new there. There might not be.
It appears to be the same one that they had in January. Like it's still like all the changes they made in January are still there, highlighted red, and it says January 2024. So I think they just re-uploaded it. I don't think they actually changed anything.
I don't know.
So far, I mean, they'll come up with a new document.
We've also got a couple fake ones, so because codex points aren't real. I'm pretty sure codex points are a dude smoking crack out in the back, and they're like, Jimmy, what do you think this should cost? He's like 7 million points. And they're like, got it. And they write it down. Also, Mike.
Is he behind Waffle House or Shoney's?
He's definitely a Shoney's guy.
Classy.
And I am now officially coming to both of your tournaments. Also, Kyle, you almost had to drive me from Raleigh to Knoxville because I may or may not have accidentally bought 2 tickets to the same place on different days.
I wouldn't have done that. So that would have been really upsetting.
Well, I would have stolen your car with a note that said thank you. Mike, we will definitely talk about Aeldari because they were not kind. Let's start with sisters. Start at the top.
Okay.
We knew Arcos were going up.
So they went up 10 points.
Now they went up. No one's bringing freaking 3 guys.
No, what I'm saying is the 10 model squad used to be 150.
Oh, it used to be 140.
160. They went up in January, and then they went up again here.
Falcon Punch. They're still amazing. I mean, when you
Triumph went up 15 points. Still pretty much an auto include.
Yeah, well, she's also good. I mean, Triumph plus the Arcos is like just boss mode because of lethal hits. You know what I mean? They're still like really, really good. I'm a little sad that the Crusaders went up 10 points.
They went down 10 points.
What's that?
Oh, Crusaders. I thought you said
It's like no, they did not.
Yeah. They're still fine. 2 models, 35 points.
I mean, it's still legit, but like the 25 points was just so boss mode. But Sacrosankt's going down, kind of a big deal. I've been seeing more and more of those go in Sisters list lately.
I mean, the list that we built Eloise last week had a unit of 10 of them. So
yep,
they're definitely still in there. Maybe we'll even take more now, like a unit 15 or a unit 10 and a unit 5.
So Death Code Assassin's the same as the Crusaders going up. And then we've got the Blade of St. Eleanor, which is probably the best enhancement in Sisters. It's so good. So I was not surprised that the things went up. They didn't go up that much. I don't think this really affects this army. And I'm pretty excited about it because I thought Sisters were in a good place already. So I'm pretty pumped that they basically made the status quo. And they did that with we'll see a lot of these because a lot of these armies that were in the Goldilocks zone, you can't fuck with them. You know what I mean? So it's a big deal on that.
Mortifiers at Penitent engines also went down, and we were looking at that. It just makes it more of an auto include, I think.
I mean, it's just so it's a little. It's hard for me to see. I have to look for the arrows because GW's dicks, and they put it in stuff that I can't see. So that makes me angry. So it's a big deal on that. I mean, Mortifier's great. I think that the army is going to be, if you're playing Sisters, you're probably not going to have to change very much. You know what I mean? I mean, it's putting a Band-Aid on it, if anything. So I think they're going to be fine. What are you thinking on that, Brandon? You and Eloise rock out Sisters a lot.
Eloise's list that we just made for her, I think, went up 55 points, but then with the Mortifier changes and the Sacrosanct changes, it went down 30. So there's like a net difference of plus 25 to 40 points.
So we basically, I was say you lose a Crusader. So
I also have opinions on Sisters and that they're icky.
Well, I'm glad you got to weigh in on that one.
I'm super proud of you, Kyle.
It's an army I know nothing about, so these points, like, I don't care.
I mean, the main thing is that the army effectively stayed about the same, and it was already performing really well, but it wasn't performing out of control. So I think that it's a really good spot to be in, to be honest with you.
I mean, has it drastically affected its abilities to score points wherever, whenever?
No, I mean,
they're still doing that.
It's the same army. Let's talk about Custodes, because Custodes got, well, did they go down? Because this is another one of those codex prices aren't a real thing. So why?
Well, so I have the document from January on my phone, so we can double check and see what actually happened.
Because I think that most of this shit is exactly what it was right now, if I'm not mistaken. Because I already looked.
The Blade Champion is 10 points cheaper.
These are to reflect the codex, right? This is not
correct. That's the thing, though, Kyle. Is to, like, for instance, every single codex that's came out now, the points listed in the codex are just total nonsense. They have nothing to do with reality.
So these are the real points.
These are the real points.
And let's see, the Knight Centaur is 5 points cheaper. And
I mean, we got to get Wake KR up. He should have been there. This is a little too early for him. I can't believe he's not up at 7:30 in the morning talking 40K. But one of the big
they haven't formatted differently than before.
Yeah, really?
They do. Because is there another page, Brad?
Say again?
Is there another page?
No.
You're just...
Yeah, so where's Trajan? Where's the jet bikes? Where's the dreadnoughts?
Trajan's like halfway up under Shield Captain on Dawn Eagle. He's 150.
150.
All right. Trajan went down 10 points. Good job.
I mean, Trajan got slaughtered in the new codex. He should be like 120 points max.
Do they not have Venerable Dreadnoughts anymore?
They have, Venerable Contemptor Dreadnoughts. It's 170.
Well, that's why. Okay. I'm just seeing what Brad has, and I'm looking at the old document. So it looks like just the characters went down in points, and everything else is the same from January.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So,
to reflect the character Orc shield detachment.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, somebody's going to show me these guys rocking and rolling, because so far their codex does not seem super excited. But these points are where they were pretty much. So in the list that I've looked at, don't change a ton. It's just the way that they play changes. So I'm not a big Custodes fan or new Custodes Codex fan, because I don't think it has as much flavor as the other two that just came out. But I do think that they lost a decent amount of power from rules that they should have gotten a break in points. I don't know how people think about that, but I really thought they were going to give them some cuts on especially like things like Alaris. So they just have more stuff, period. I'm actually a little surprised that they don't have it.
Well, I think it's the same way with like when Necrons just came out and then they released the data slate. Like there wasn't enough data to make points adjustments yet. So this is their baseline. And
I guess, but like,
come July,
if you cut some power on stuff, you would think that they would get they would be less points though. You know what I mean?
So that's assuming that they understand that they're cutting power. What if they don't know that they cut power? They think that they made a completely balanced, powerful codex.
I
And
mean,
that these points are like, oh, these are sick. This is great.
I still
These are
think
great
that
investments.
I really still think that there was an Ork team, a Tau team, and a sad guy named Billy that worked in the basement by himself on custodes.
And Dark Angels.
He's like, I got this, guys. No one invite me to anything. I'll be in the basement.
Yeah, so just a couple character changes that went down compared to January, but we'll see what happens.
Don't mean to be a naysayer, but like GW hired somebody with a competitive edge, a competitive feel, right, to help them balance these and make changes. But they're clearly playing a different game than what's being played everywhere. With more people playing the game than ever, like you would think that they would have a better understanding of how their points and their rules reflect actual competitive play.
Yes,
but
there's to give them the shill for GW. It is difficult to maintain internal balance between detachments and balance between the 27 factions. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have some fuck ups, and a lot of these people are the thing is they have to get the story right also, and a lot of these guys are story first, rules second, so it's difficult. You know what I mean? I think they could be closer to the mark a lot of times, but it's not like the old days, at least. How about that? You're like, things suck so much in the back in the day that this is good. Let's talk about AdMech. They had a bunch of stuff go down. They got Ruststalkers went down, Rangers went down, Scorpius Disintegrators went down. They should have went way down. Cataphragm Destroyers went down. The Dune Crawler went down. Like a bunch of their vehicles went down. Robots went down. I wish Breachers went down. I still think they're overcosted. Belisarius Call went down. Overall, you basically can even bring more stuff in your army
you don't own yet.
that costs so much in the first place. I think this is already pushing you to play what I think was already the best stuff, which is just playing AdMech Horde. So,
Electro Priest didn't get touched?
No.
Those things are pretty scary sometimes.
I think
only sometimes.
There's builds in here still. I think that AdMech is underrated. I don't think it's an OP codex at all, you know what I mean, or a top tier, but I do think it's underrated, and I don't think you see as many people playing it just because of the fact that the models cost so goddamn much.
Well, we just saw it at Gemhammer, and it went 4-1. Like it only lost one game.
Yeah, Sarapata did really well.
All the chicken walkers, yeah.
He averaged 15 points a thing. I'll give a shout out to Sean, a guy that I talk to all the time in coaching. He's playing a modified Horde with AdMech and doing well with it. It's just, it costs a ton. Also, just Horde armies are just backbreaking to play, of course. You know what I mean? But yep.
They're just like unanimously the ugliest faction in the game.
Oh, they're
hands down.
Yeah, they got some goofy shit. So yeah, Pepperidge Farm remembers Mike. Do you remember? Pepperidge Farm says. Eloise, there hasn't been any. Are there any key synergies or combos that have emerged or been disrupted due to the points adjustments, like 10 Basic Sisters blob? Not really, because of the fact that they touched them so lightly. Nothing that you were already using is going to be really touched, in my opinion, for Sisters.
No, I think to answer Eloise's question, probably better off after review the entire document, but just to see how. Yeah, maybe we need a tier video of how we think the codexes are going to line
but first up, we got to do the points per points. I mean, I'm just saying, like the points for just Sisters, looking at Sisters in a vacuum, not comparing them to the other codexes right now. Nothing really changed for Sisters, but I don't think things change for Sisters anyways. I mean, I've looked over this document. I'm thinking about the meta. I think the Sisters are still in the same place that they are right now, which is a top tier, probably A tier plus army that can win, but is just going to be really dependent on generalmanship
Mm-hmm.
because it has
You know,
the ability to play anything.
an interesting segment that maybe that could happen later is to rank both like singles versus teams, since teams is becoming more prevalent and played. You could rank each faction based on their viability for both sides.
I wouldn't mind doing that also because there's a couple factions that I think are bonkers better in teams than they are in singles.
So like sisters.
Now, sisters are great, are a good army.
They're
period.
great either way.
Yeah, sisters are a good singles army. I would say, like, for instance, I think Blood Angels are wildly better in teams, for instance, because their bad matchups are bad. But, like, if you get them just skirt away from that, it's a billion times better. I think Adbeck came out as a slight winner in this. What are your guys' thoughts on this? I mean, they just got nothing but...
I mean, they only went down in points. The biggest challenge with AdMech is getting the models to play them. And this is just going to make it so you need even more models to play this army.
Oh, get a better job. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Right?
That
I'm not picking up AdMech anytime soon.
Index Aeldari. Holy shit. Why did you touch things inappropriately? However, Shining Spears finally went down, which makes me happy because I do like Shining Spears. I still think that they should be slightly less, but man, they're 100 points for 3. That makes me happy. Storm Guardians and Guardian Defenders both went down, to which I don't care so much.
Eloise and I are going to refinance our mortgage in order to pay for an AdMech army.
Excellent decision. So, Strike Scorpions did go down, which I actually am happy with. 65 points, throw K-Ron in there. Good. Howling Banshees went down. And if they went down to negative numbers, then I would play them because they're so goddamn awful. Like I wouldn't take Howling Banshees because I wouldn't want to take up the space and give away a kill on Purge the Foe. So, like, Brad, you get 20 extra points if you take Howling Banshees. I'd be like, not sure I'm going to be able to fit them in. But Fugues went up. We knew that was going to happen. He should have got hit last.
He didn't even go up that much, though.
No. Like, he still went up.
He's still an auto include.
15 point, yeah. Swooping Ox went up for the second time in a row. They're up.
They're too good.
You're too good.
They're just too good. This is the fifth time that we've talked, that you have specifically talked about how deep the Eldar index still is. So even with minor nerfs, they are minor, they're not that big of a deal, and some increases elsewhere with like garbage and then some Shining Spears, like they're still probably an A-tier army.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they hit spore weapons up again. They weren't like everywhere in the first place. Those are just expensive now, man.
Well, they're just great area denial weapons. Having played against 3 Eldar players who had 3 of them, you know, like, oh, I can set this and it covers 3 center objectives.
Yeah, I love it. He goes, they get fight first, advance and charge, and they have 4 plus a melee. I'm not mad at them. Ex-Architect Schuster played. They just bounce so hard. Strength 4.
The guy who won Alpine Cup had Storm Guardians in his list.
Guardians are fine. I just like to hate on them. Because the Guardians are literally guys that were like making tea like a little while ago and had to rush out and grab a gun. Oh shit, we're getting invaded? The Aspect Warriors are literally ninja warriors, like only training every day, and the Guardian Defenders and this are just like, what? Oh man, I was waxing my car. I gotta go grab a catapult. Let's do this.
Oh, we forgot Shadow Specters too.
It's on the next page. Shadow Specters got rocked because they're Forge World. That and the Phoenix Gem went up 10 points also. It wasn't a huge deal, but like they've gotten pointed quite a bit. I really do think that Eldar's in a fine place right now for a powerful army. I don't know if I would have jacked them up. And this is obviously, I have a biased opinion because I like Eldar. But, meh.
I still think you take Shadow Specters. They only went up 10 points or 5.
I mean, shooting Scoot's just too powerful probably not to. You know what I mean?
The real question is, do you think they'll survive when their codex comes out? All these Forgeable models.
I love it. As an Admech player, GW feels like an abusive girlfriend. I keep hoping she will change. She won't.
Orc spiders didn't change.
Orc spiders did not go up. Spee-eyed, I think orc spiders are probably where they should be. 5 models for $1.15 for a 1/1 model. You know what I mean? They're really good. They die.
The one thing I hate about the support weapons is that you have the vibro cannon and you have the what's the other one?
It's
the D cannon, the vibro cannon, and the
Shadow Weaver.
The Shadow Weaver, and the other two are just unfortunate casualties that you'll never see. Like,
yeah, I'm not paying 135 for my Shadow Weaver battery.
Like, I really want to see vibro cannons back, but there's not a chance at 135 points. I don't think I've seen one this edition so far.
Artoware said deservedly. I mean, the support D cannons, yes, but the problem is that neither one of the other two, exactly like Brandon's saying. You're just like, did the Shadow Weaver and the vibro cannon deserve to go up to $1.35? Nope.
Yes.
Yeah, just because they know him, you know that guy.
Greg Sparks is being punished for something he did 5 editions ago.
Exactly. These are probably warranted. The army will probably stay about the same. This doesn't really change a whole lot for myself. Yeah, less D cannons. Yeah, probably, to be honest. That is just a lot for something that can be picked up fairly quickly. Also, depending on the board you're on, it is hard to hide them. They're a little awkward. They're not huge, but they're just goofy looking. But overall, I want to play some Shining Spears. You know what I'd also like to have? Shining Spears that didn't come on goddamn coaster-sized bases. What the fuck, GW? Give me back my little flying guy. I'd love to play my spears. I used to have so many spears. So many. The power of the spear. What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about these changes?
Even though this is the fifth nerf for Eldar, they're fine.
I mean, it's right where we want them, right? Right in the sweet spot again. 44 win percentage is right
I
where
was
they
just
need
going
to
say.
I think I think they'll be fine. I mean, look at the list that you were playing, Brad, just a couple weeks ago. Like, it hardly got touched by this.
Yeah, I played a team tournament list that could not play a horde. Like, you have more than 20 models, I'm out.
Yeah, but you hardly got touched, though. There's plenty of builds in the Eldar book where they're absolutely fine. Like, I still haven't seen a person taking 9 Wind Riders with scatter lasers or shuriken cannons. And that is an amazing unit.
I have seen that, and I've played against it.
It's good.
Specifically, Riley from X4, one of our friendly teams, plays that.
Fire and Fade's a hell of a drug on those guys. Yeah, 100%, brother. A melee unit on the side, low size bases to just shoot, it's wrong. It is. I don't understand why they put the bikes on those gigantic things. It is confusing on that. It's just really hard to use them.
All right. Next up is Agents of the Imperium.
Oh, this is my specialty.
This is your specialty, Kyle.
Perfect.
Can't believe Draxus went up.
Yeah, how could they? Who is that?
It gives you no, you guys don't know Draxus? Draxus gives you the Ghetto Fabulous lone operative. 18 inch.
The 18 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Calidus went up because the Calidus should have went up. I mean, when the Calidus got that giant point decrease, I still don't know what they were thinking. Calidus is bonkersville.
So it was 125, I think,
yeah.
and then they changed it so it only affects battle tactics, and then we're gonna put it back at 90. That seems appropriate.
Well, it's the uppy downy is the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I mean, just whew. Inquisitorial Henchman went up. Yeah, you knew that was gonna happen. And Calidus again. Like, Calidus is a ninja, just avoiding that many point changes, just like.
I mean, 10 at this point, even though it was whatever 125, it's still significant for something that like kind of scores a lot of points for a lot of armies that don't have the availability to uppy downy And that's like one of the biggest things.
You just
in
say
the game.
kind of like the Calidus shows up in like 90%
Yeah,
of
kind of in
very
the
marvelous.
like hyperbolic sense. It is an important model for armies that don't leverage the up-down part of the game that people are kind of building around.
Oh, 100%. I think that this is everything's fine. The Calidus staying at that makes a lot of armies just delightful. Let's talk about IG because I thought they got a bunch of weird shit. Also, why do they just keep going? I do enjoy it because I hate indirect, but also was Basilisk and Manicores just ruling the roost that they needed another 10-point hit? Just what the fuck, man?
Whoever's playing these games for GW to watch and understand where they need to point adjust is just watching Manicores and Basilisk table people in 2.
But Hellhounds went down, the Hydra went down, the Rough Riders, mount up, went down, and then every Lehman Russ went down, like significantly.
What did Bully Boys go up by?
Let me see.
Well, they had to. People were just starting to spam.
They went
shit
they
out
went
of
up
them.
they went up 10
As I
points.
say, 10 points.
Basilisk went up 15. Kazarkins went up 20. Wow, that's a big change.
Yep. Well, I mean, it was the thing that was being spammed. You know what I mean? You saw it in so many lists. So the command squads went down, Scions went down, basically all the tempestuous stuff went down. And the Manicore was just minding its own business, and it got another nerf.
It deserved it. It know what it did.
You know what, Dark? 100%. GW created a problem with indirect, and now they don't know how to fix it beyond making it unplayable. 100%. They did the same shit with Flyers an edition ago. You know what I mean? When Flyers were a huge problem, they just went, I don't know how to fix the... They eventually did mainly fix the Flyer mechanic, but for 3 years we had to deal with that shit when they just went, we don't know how to fix the mechanic. Let's just slam points on this thing so it's not ever played. Yeah.
Hashtag bring back scatter dice. I'll solve the problem.
Bring back scatter dice and templates and firing arcs. Bring back armor ratings.
It'll solve the problem.
I think that this list is fine. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you brought the 30 Kasserkin only indirect with Bullygrin list, it's not fine for you anymore. But there was a ton of lists that were bringing a shit ton of tanks and everything else. I think this is delightful. Templates OP.
I still have my templates from 7th edition.
Dude,
I'm ready. I'm ready for them to make a comeback in 11th edition.
One of my favorites is when Sparks auto-cannon the perfect way to get people underneath your flamer template and your small template. It was fantastic.
Yep. It was a 22.
Yeah, it was so crazy. Oh yeah, Medusa also went up because reasons. Let's go to the Black Templar. I think this is actually kind of a big deal. Because they did exactly what we thought they would do, which is they took all of the Black Templar variants of Impulsors and Gladiators and bumped them up a few points, but they actually bumped the Crusaders and the Sword Brethren up again. And I don't know how I feel about this just because of the fact that the Black Templar detachment itself was not winning even remotely as high as just the Gladius was. So I don't know how that win rate's going to look now that they've lost some stuff when they already weren't doing super well.
So if you look at that Crusader squad, the only part that got bumped up is the people who are min-maxing 5-man squads. Like the other points, like if you take a large 20-man squad, it's still a derivative of 75
but
points.
I mean, Sword Brother just straight up went up.
It's just stopping you from min-maxing it.
Yeah, and spamming impulsors and stuff, I guess. But I don't know. Sword Brother going up on both, you know what I mean, for both. You're just losing a lot of points. And I don't think this is going to affect the Gladius version of this at all. But again, it's the Templar detachment, the Crusader detachment. You know what I mean? Already was having, not like problems, but they were just not winning as well. So, I mean, it is difficult to get the win rate fine for, obviously every detachment that you can put in because there's so many. But you hate seeing something that was already not exactly setting the world on fire get hit. You know what I mean?
Well, do you think this is more just punishment on pure close combat, which appears to be what GW has been focusing on this edition?
No, I mean, it's just you can't have as much shit. I mean, because I figure you've been seeing like a lot of standard variations of this, which were just like a lot of small tanks and a land raider with this particular list. Do you know what I mean? So I don't. I guess
what was the increase on the Sword Brethren? Because now they're 30 points per model.
They went up 10 points per 5.
10 points, yeah. And it's not the end of the world, but again, it's just a lot of things, put together. So
I think they'll be fine.
I mean, Black Tip
this isn't that big of a points change. Each tank went up 5 points. The Primary Sword Brethren went up 10, and the 5-man Crusader squad went up 10.
I mean,
if you take more than 5 Crusaders, you're back at the points you were.
No, I'll give you that. So, I mean...
just take a Razorback if you want to split your squad.
Oh, you don't know me. Meh. How about that? That's my cutting edge take. Meh. I think it's going to be fine. I do agree with you on that.
This is a very minimal amount of points.
Well, also Black Templars have been very consistently in the 50 to 53, so I think they'll probably be fine. Angels, the bloody Angels, Death Company, both variants going up. Lamarty's going up because he's with the Death Company. Sanguinary Priest and the Sanguinary Priest with Jump Pack going up. I don't really think this was needed, man. Mephiston went down. The Death Company Dreadnought went down and no one cares. And Death Company Intercessors, which I'm not even sure anybody has, went down.
Lyle has them. They went down 5 points.
Well, they're trying to force you to use them, but they're not good. They're not like the firstborn Death Company.
I also hate the fact that they put up the Death Company. I really enjoyed the Death Company Blood Angels list with just lots of Death Company. I just thought it was really thematic. And it was good. So I don't like the fact that they raised them. They didn't raise anything very much. So I don't think it's going to matter. Sanguinary Guard went down, thank God, but they still are probably too heavy. Ugh.
What do they need to be played? What would you like to see them at?
Probably too cheap for everybody else. They'll yell at me, but I just think they're a fantastic model and they're iconic for Blood Angels. Some of the iconic Blood Angels units, like Death Company, like Sanguinary Guard, I just like to see on the board. You don't have to spam them, but I like to see them at a point cost where they're just included most of the time because they're just a unit that symbolizes the chapter. You know what I mean? So
I think at that price point you'll see Sanguinary Guard, just one squad to accompany a character. But
how much did they go down again?
20 points on 5.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was 20 or 25. I still think they could go down another 10 points. You know what I mean? I'd like to see them just shy of 30 points a model. So I'd like to see 130-ish. And I agree with you on that, Josh. I could see them going all the way down. I just want to see, like I said, I'd like to see those units. And because I'm such a lore idiot, I do like that kind of shit. But also they look sick. You know what I mean? So I'm not super excited about that company going up. But I don't know if it's going to make that big of a change on it. I got an ad for shampoo.
They didn't go up that much, did they?
No. But they still just went up.
Yeah.
Just
can we phone a friend, call Lyle, and see what he thinks?
Well, it doesn't really change the list almost at all, to be perfectly honest. It's a smattering of points, but I just don't bother. Armies like this, I don't like when they feel like they have to touch somebody to touch them for no reason. That's my only thing. I love that everyone got a different ad. Eloise got shampoo. Falk to Punch is getting cleared in. I love everything about this.
And Brad, what should people do who are watching this video?
Like and subscribe to the channel, please. I'm not really sure why I just yelled that one of the words. I just hit puberty yesterday. My voice is changing, so I'm having some problems.
That explains so much.
But I think this is fine. I just don't like when they touch things or touch it. So,
yeah, I actually don't think Lyle's list changed that much at all.
No,
I think
it doesn't,
because he had jump intercessors, right? So they went down in points.
So let's talk about the demon changes. Cool. All right, good talk. Let's talk about the CK changes. Cool. Good talk. But by the way, I agree on both of these. I don't want to just make it like haha fun, because I do agree that both of those armies needed to be just let alone. They were winning at exactly where you wanted them to be.
Hold on. This is like one of the things I actually know about. So can we stay here for a second?
I already moved on to Chaos Space Marines, but we can talk about it.
So things needed to happen here, and
What kind of
there didn't
things?
need to be like, okay, your battle line units needed to come down.
I'll give you
Just.
that, but I feel like GW has already just disowned the battle line units and just decided they don't exist.
Except for Nurglings. Nurglings is the only battle line unit that apparently exists for demons. They just don't. Again, demons are fine. They still don't have an identity. It's like they gave up trying to figure out what demons are going to do until their codex comes out. So they're balanced. Like the Great Unclean One going down to 230 the last time that this happened made him like wildly more playable. And I played him. And he's pretty good. But like
Pretty
120,
good.
yeah, he's super good. 120 for 10 bloodletters. Like why is that a real thing?
They're
They have one
I have to admit, when I thought about this, I already, in my mind, let those guys go. Because they're battle line guys. Seriously, though, when I'm looking at demon stuff, I don't even remember they exist anymore. Because of the fact that for what they are, they're wildly overpriced. They're also one wound models, so they can't trade with anybody. Also, if you overwatch them with, I don't know, a t-shirt launcher, a foam launcher, you're at a rave party, you lose like half the squad. You know what I mean? So,
It would be cool to see more battle line units and demons, because bloodletters and horrors and plague bearers are very iconic, and you just don't see them.
I'd also like to see bigger squads, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I was very surprised they did go up to 20. Yeah.
But then you're paying 280 points for 20 pink horrors, and it's like, well, who cares?
But they split.
Awesome. You hold one objective until the end of time, and you get beat up everywhere else because you've wasted so many points.
Not me. I'm going to make sure that those pinks are dead just to spite you. I'll lose the game before I let your pink survive.
So where do are we going to go back and rank them like later, or?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We're going to go to the CS. We're literally in C's, guys. We're getting fucking Sam got anywhere.
There's so many entries. All right.
Chaos Spikers. I mean, look at Chaos Space Marines. Yes, everything went down. It's a fucking fire sale for CSM. Everything's priced to move.
But a lot of these are pretty good changes. Like, you're not touching the things that already went back up before. You're not touching the things that are, 10th edition historically busted, but you are moving things down to playable ranges that are still good. Legionnaires are still good. Raptors are crazy good. The Venom Crawler is decent. Like, all of these things are, like, I mean, Terminator squads are cheaper than they've ever been.
I agree. I think that they really needed this, too, because they took too much stuff away. They hit them a little too hard on that. Meta Monday, I'm sad about this. MFM, the Mutist or whatever. I'm sorry about this points update. I think GW broke it again. Orks are going to be dominant in an unhealthy way. I don't believe that until I start playing them. Guard at BA didn't need the nerfs, 1,000%. Custodes are going to be trash. Yeah. Generic Space Marines still not good. We haven't got to them yet, but yes.
They're bad. They're
they're gross. So good, actually, though.
They're so gross.
Next level, baby. So
Outriders still aren't free.
Let's talk about CSMs here. I think that Venom Crawler is getting hard. I think it's that going down to $110. I think you're going to see a CSM list that can really bank. Raptors went down, Possess went down, Havocs went down, which actually is a big deal on that. I'd love to see some chain cannon Havocs. So I think, isn't this enough in decreases in the rest of the stuff to put these guys back on the map?
I think so. I mean, you just get more stuff.
These are significant changes. If anything has like a significant bump up, it feels like Chaos Space Marine so far.
I agree on that. Let's go down
to you'll just see a different type of chaos list. and that's fine.
Let's talk about Dark Angels, who got done dirty in an alley when their codex came out. You gotta move out of that hood.
I'm currently on fire, so
Where the hood at?
wait
It's
till I
a
stop.
Kyle's. The lion went down.
He went down 50 points.
And he still could go down.
Yeah, he's still more expensive than Satan. And spoiler alert, Gilliman did not change points, so Gilliman is 350 points still.
It's right where he needs to be. The perfect pointed model.
To never see the table.
Ever. Not even once. Does this make their Terminator squads cheap enough to get back on the board?
I think they're cheaper than Space Marine Terminators.
I mean, I think this is a big deal. I kind of want to put Inner Circle of Companions on the board for 90 points now.
Why?
Cheaper
Blade
than
Guard
the
are still better.
Terminators.
I know,
Blade Guard have the
but
same
they're-
amount of attacks,
but they're
and an
not
invulnerable save.
called Inner Circle Companions.
So take the Inner Circle Companions, give them a Storm Shield, and take them as Blade Guard.
I know they're so bad. I said that as a joke on that. But isn't the Lion playable at 300?
No.
Deathwing Knights playable at 215?
Probably.
I'd have to look at the rules again
It's still a lot, man.
because they
Definitely
have
Terminators.
the damage reduction though.
They have the damage reduction, and they've still got maces, which are just
The
pretty.
damage
They
2 maces
lost
now.
damage on them.
Yeah, I mean they still got the good strength. I mean they're still good. You know what I mean?
But
I'm
you
gonna-
figure
I'm gonna-
so a lot of the damage reduction units went up in points this pass, and they reduced damage and they went down in points. And there's just a plethora of damage 2 weapons, so they might not be that bad.
Victor, you expected the Death Company nerf, but still hurt. Yeah, I agree with you on that because I don't think it was needed. Death Guard, you gonna take that Hellbrute, Kyle?
Never.
Just want to make sure he's trash.
What does the Death Company Hellbrute even do?
Death
Besides
Guard
provide a
Hellbrute. Thank you very much.
Hellbrute,
Yeah.
He does literally nothing. No point even talking
Yeah,
about
if
him.
he was in Chaos and he was giving you a 6-inch aura of double packed, you could talk about him. You know what he does in Death Guard? Does
Contagion.
not. Yeah, he doesn't get in the game. That's what he does.
Yeah, I mean he's just being brought in line with everything else.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're just not
I
taking
mean,
him.
Death Guard are still in a really good
Ooh,
spot.
speaking of Death Watch. You know who should have got some buffs? Death Watch. You know who did not get any buffs?
This leads me
Death
to believe
Watch.
that they're getting a new codex soon.
I mean, I can't believe they didn't touch the kill teams. I mean,
I feel like at this point they have to be getting a new codex soon. Maybe put in with inquisitorial agents or something, because this is just bad.
yeah. By the way, speaking of Death Guard, Kyle, what would you think? I think team-wise, Death Guard might be one of the top codexes in teams, and I think it's still a good singles list. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's just strong overall. Like there's so many builds that you could put on the table for singles and for teams that make them like just an incredible army. That it's almost an auto include in teams, especially if once you start moving to like 8s from 5. And singles, like it has so much play, and we can talk about it more when we get to like the Necron stuff and the gatekeepers that were holding them down a little bit, but they're great at everything that they do.
I agree on that. Let's go down to the Dark Elves. They just got all their point stuff and the new detachment, so I'm not surprised that absolutely nothing changed because they.
So specifically this, what is hurting Drukhari from moving up in the meta, and are the changes elsewhere that are happening right now and them not getting affected at all? Does that sideways buff them?
I think they're going to be buffed just by what the meta is going to be, because I think that the hoardier the meta goes, the better the Drukhari are, because they work in 2 phases. The fact that they've got anti-infantry 3 on all their poison weapons, and then they just got a bucket full of dark lances, is going to make their presence in the meta more valuable. That's my prediction on that, because I'm just looking at the things like that went down and things that went up and the kind of things that I think you're going to see in the meta. They play fairly well into all of that. They're really good at just, especially if you have infantry driven lists, Drukhari become wildly better.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
Do you think this will play well in the new orc detachments that you're looking at?
Yeah, I do. Because it's all going to be infantry stuff. So, like, you're just going to be taking a bonkersville amount of saves. And Dark Lances are a great equalizer. GSC. GSC got nothing but love, but it wasn't like a ton. It was just vehicles. It was vehicles and the aberrants. I think GSC is underrated right now. I think GSC is another one that's going to benefit greatly if you get a meta shift. I just think this is an army that's very difficult to play in the first place. When it's played at the highest levels, it's still terrifying. You can just put a bonkers amount of volume of shots at people. Crossfire is still disgusting. Ridge Runners went down. Ridge Runners are already good. Trucks and Rock Riders went down. A lot of people were taking the forward deploying aberrants. So I think this makes GSC nothing but better. And they were already fine. In my humble opinion. They weren't doing super well in just a general win percentage, but I also think that this is a very specialist army where if you're really good with GSC, you're really, really good with it. And if you're just trying to pick GSC up, you're just like, this is terrible. So I think that this is a very difficult to play, but highly, like, it has a high ceiling, but it also has like a bonkersville, like basement level 9 floor. So this is an army that I think is going to see some more juice. Grey Knights. Dread Knights went up, which we all knew. Librarian and the Tech Marine went up. However, I was surprised. Interceptors, Purgation Squads, Purifiers, and Strikes all went down. I think that Grey Knights are going to be in a great spot. You know what I mean? Silver Tide is already pretty damn decent.
Well, when you guys were talking about the other day, and I'm like, I think I commented about how I'd like to see more of the actual bodies that aren't Terminators. And this is a great way to do it. Like, Strike Squads are amazing at 120 points.
Yeah.
They still have 2 up saves, a Stormbolter, a Power Weapon, and Scout moves.
Purgation Squad with indirect fire, you know what I mean? So
Purifier
good.
Squads with so many flamers, it's not even funny. Like,
yeah, it's bonkersville, man. It's just I think that this army already was good. I think it's just getting better.
So, like, the targeted side of this is that the Dread Knights, the Librarians, and the Tech Marines were a little too cheap for their efficiency. But you gain it back with all of the squads going down in points.
It basically makes you, it's not forcing you to, but if you want to get maximum efficiency, it's forcing you to have a little bit more well-rounded of an army. And I don't think that's bad. Those units are good. I mean, all of those are good. You know what I mean? So I think the Grey Knights were doing well. They're gonna do better. To be honest with you. Never had an easy game against GSC. GSC's hard as shit. Knights still haven't got anything, man. I'm surprised at that, to be perfectly honest. They need just a little bit of seasoning. This is some bland boiled potato.
So Eloise has an interesting question. So with all the points changes on trash, like a lot of battle line units are going down, a lot of just infantry are going down across the board. Do you think we're going to see more of a transition from high toughness units to more horde?
I think you're going to see both. I think you're going to see a significantly more horde, but I still think you're going to see a lot of high toughness armies. It's going to be difficult to build lists that are versatile enough to take everything on, because I think you are going to see a large increase in hordes, but you're still going to see a lot of the armies that are coming out. You're going to see enough of them where it's not an aberration. You know what I mean? It's just part of the tournament. But I think you're going to see a good 25% more hordes than you saw before. And that's a big number on that. You know what I mean? Because there's just so many armies that are being incentivized with points and or detachments that just favor horde. Green Tide, Crude. We were just talking about the Grey Knights points. There's a lot of armies that are just getting cheaper guys. So is that going to be the only thing you see? No. Are you going to see a lot more of it? 100%. Knights. I wish Knights got a little bit of a buff. I'm moving on. League of Votann. Warriors went down and Uthar went down. I'm fine with that. I didn't think they needed to be touched last time, to be perfectly honest with you. To be fair, this is
So you're saying like a net 30 points?
you wouldn't
get
even
an
see it with that much anyway.
No, I'm talking about like the 3 units of warriors for all the Sagittars.
I mean, you were seeing 2 most of the time, to be honest with you, lately. Meh. It's not a huge deal. You get an enhancement, basically. But the problem is they have so few data sheets that it's hard to mix and match in the first place with League of Votann. I think they're fine. I think that they shouldn't have gone up to the last one. You know what I mean? So, I do think that they're just fine. Let's go down and argue about Necrons.
Hell yeah.
Let's talk about the winners.
Kyle can't even contain his excitement over Necrons.
CCB, Death Marks, Ophidian Destroyers, Flayed Ones, basically all the Destroyers, and the Scorpec Lord all went down. Let's talk about what up. Yes. Hypercrypt. Well, Technomancer, Xeris, Immortals, Plasmancer, Chronomancer, Monolith, and the Catan went up bonkers. I love that Nightbringer was the cheapest Catan, and now he's the most expensive Catan. Because they were like, I think we might have messed up when he's fucking Voltroning people. Just standing there waiting for his theme music. Like, I think we made a mistake.
I have a lot to say about Necrons. I'm excited we're here. How much time do we have?
Let's hear an expert. You have 3 minutes.
3? I can't get it done in 3 minutes. Okay. Brad, you start, and then we'll start filling in where I think I can.
I think this is too much. I think that if they just hit the Catan, it would have been fine. But they hit, like, everything in your list. Like, if you're playing Hypercrypt, you're like, hey, what went up? Yes. Like, your whole fucking army went up. Like,
your army, you can't play it anymore.
Yeah, just, I mean, what are the Necrons? One play. Somebody give me how much your list went up, because it's got to be a lot. I mean, the Catan all went up. Every character went up. The Monolith went up. Immortals went up.
It's got to be 320, like 325 minimum. You're
So let's
already
see.
like.
So Nightbringer went up 30 points.
No, he went up 40 points. He was 255. Was he not?
Yeah.
Oh, he is 255. Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at
30 on the Void Dragon. He was 260.
Yeah.
He was 270. The Transcendent Satan went up 10 points. That's not that bad.
So we're up what?
Monolith
80?
went up 25.
105.
Chronomancers
went up 15.
You're probably taking 2 of those, or were you taking the Plasmancer? It doesn't matter either. Both went up.
Plasmancer was 55. I can't see how much he is now.
He's 65 now.
65 says 10. So you're like 165 currently before you touch your troops in Illuminor.
Xeris. Caught up the court, went up by 135. If I drop a Doomstalker, it's hyper vulnerable to. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like they up too many things. This list wasn't like setting the world on fire. It was just winning. You know what I mean? It was winning at a good 50-something. It was doing well. Don't get me wrong. This list was doing both versions. Canoptic and Hypercrypt were both doing very well, especially at the highest, because they were winning a decent amount of tournaments. But I don't know if they needed this much.
So, starting with Catan, they were way too cheap for what they did, and everybody knew that they were bullshit. We're not going to hear anything else on that because they're bullshit. But it seems like the nerfs are coming from more of like a gameplay stance than an actual like percentage stance on how much they're winning, because GW continuously pushes the 3-inch deep strike, the deep strike shenanigans, but then they understand that it's way too powerful on the board, and then they have to roll it back, and they keep rolling it back. So all of these things that got hit are things that up down and have amazing impact immediately. And they don't want, it feels like they don't want this happening where you can drop within 3 inches, disrupt somebody's game plan, move, block them, and blow up half of the thing that you're, more than half. Sometimes you just kill the unit, whatever you drop in front of. So to adjust for that kind of like feel bad game state, they had to just bump all this stuff up.
It's a lot of bumping though, man. It's
It's a lot of, yeah, but it's like necessary, a lot of bumping. Maybe it was too much, like, the Satan, fine, right? Monolith, probably the Immortals didn't need to be touched, but you're losing like two things in your Hypercrypt now. You're losing two viable playable units that you need on the table. And now is Hypercrypt, can you still function with two less impactful things?
I'm gonna go to the wall real quick.
Do you think they should have changed their stat line instead of changing their points?
Probably. I think they should have touched the Catan's overall, like their data sheets, not their points.
I agree on this. I like where B Ravens goes on this, because he goes, I'd rather see the Catan's toughness changed to 9 and leave their points alone. A lower toughness opens up more predators to the prey. 100%. I would have probably changed their defensive, toughness, the half damage, whatever. That itself, instead of just making them, I just think points a lot of times are not a great equalizer. If you've got a broken mechanic, and I've said this like ad nauseum, if you have a broken mechanic, it doesn't get fixed by points. So all it happens is you make people not, if you can point it out, you know what I mean? You're like, hey, I have a broken mechanic. You're like, cool, we doubled your points kind of thing. Yeah, sure, you're not going to play it. But like that doesn't fix it if you bring another model with that mechanic into another faction kind of thing. So you want to fix that before you do anything else. So, I don't know if I agree with this. I think this might hit them just a little too hard, to be perfectly honest with you. We'll see.
It'll hit Hypercrypt too hard, but it's almost doing nothing to CC, Canoptic Court.
Yeah,
You're taking one or two like less trash options. You still have your Wraiths at a ridiculous cost.
I mean, you're nothing really changed. The Technomancer changed. You know what I mean? Like in the list I just brought to Adepticon, out of things that I actually brought, I had a Technomancer. The Catans would have changed. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah, but you just get more stuff now. Like I kind of want to see all these other units that never see the table, instead of just Satan all the time, every time.
Hey man, I brought Flayed Ones and Death Marks. I think my actual, to be fair, my Adepticon list that we played in the teams, I think I don't have to change anything, because stuff went down for the stuff that went up.
In like the Monolith now, as opposed to a Tesseract Vault, you lose some viability like elsewhere with your points, but like now the Monolith compared to the Tesseract Vault is a 25-point difference for something that hits way harder and survives longer. Like you could just flex into that.
Possibly on that, to be honest with you. We'll see on this. I'd like to see this in a couple weeks, because I've been wrong and I'll be wrong again. So
I don't know. I think they're fine.
I do think they're
mostly fine.
You just have more trash in your army.
I do think that they're fine.
Play the mission better.
I don't think that they're not going to be fine. I don't know. I do think that hit Hypercrypt a little bit. We'll see. I think that Canoptic Court that doesn't really change.
Does it help any of the other detachments?
There's not other detachments.
They're trying to make the Destroyer detachment viable, and it's not.
There's Hypercrypt, there's Canoptic Court, and there's nothing.
OBS's phalanx is not that bad.
Anytime you describe something as not that bad means I'm not playing it.
I'll be honest, I have no idea what it even does. So
does this give any room for the Silent King to see the table at all?
Siegs is bringing him this weekend at BFS Teams. We'll see.
Who's he going with?
Is Art of War. It's the 8-man teams.
Got it.
So let's talk about Orks. Oh, look at this.
Did anything actually change?
Absolutely nothing. Squiggogs went up because of the fact that they're now 4-man units instead of 3, but they also get the Squig, you get the auto leader that just gets jammed in. Trucks were 65. I mean, basically all of these points are pretty much the same as they are currently. It's just that all of them say they went down because, as I said before, codex points are written by dude trapped in a well and then he just yells stuff up at people. This is going to be fine.
Apparently the Beast Boss actually went down, though.
Unfortunately, Eloise, it isn't a real thing. Beast Boss actually. Oh, sorry.
The boss on Squigosaur went down, Brad.
Beast Boss on Squigosaur went down because of the fact that he's now can be a leader. He lost a wound, he lost a toughness, and he joins into squads now.
Big Mech went down. A lot of the characters went down.
A decent amount on the regular guys didn't. Beast Boss went from 100 to 80, which I don't understand why they don't have an arrow to. I guess it's because it's the same points in the codex itself. But the Battle Wagon was 160, yes. Gretchen were 40, yes. Hunter Rigs were 50. All those are the same.
Huge points decreases in Forge World units.
They lost 9 Forge World units. That is not looking good. That's not looking good for Tau, man. Tau's gonna get hit hard. Oof.
The only thing that you care about is the Tetra. That's it.
We'll talk about that in a minute. You're not wrong. The meta money. The only thing for the Mega Knobs is the Mega Knobs are going to be very, very jacked when you talk about Bully Boys, but I don't know if they're going to be super jacked when you're talking about any other one because of the fact that their special rule only happens during the WOG. I feel that they're going to feel very good in Bully Boys, hence the reason I'm taking 16 of them in my list right now. But in other detachments, I don't think they're going to be as jacked. I also think they're probably going to see immediate nerf after a few months. The Beast Boss going from 100 to 80, I do think is a big deal. Poor one out for the Warboss on bike. I'm still pissed about that. I found that yeah.
If you want to look at a video, you could just see Brad being continually more and more upset.
I was angry for an hour. They took away so many iconic things.
They lost 9 units. They lost 9 units from Forge World.
It's good. Forge World sucks.
You suck. Orks are fine. Most of these things aren't real point decreases. They're just point decreases from the codex.
Yeah, but like I said, a lot of the characters went down, which is pretty cool. So you're going to be getting more stuff on the table.
Oh, I'll have more stuff. You don't even know.
This is a big winner, I think.
Orks are looking good.
Except for pour one out for all the Forge World units.
Yep. I didn't realize that Flash Crisp went down. They probably went down because Dirty Bad Ruck is gone. It pisses me off. So angry about that still. How do you freaking don't let me have Dirty Bad Ruck? AKA Dirty Bad Ruck and the boys.
He can be the knob of your squad.
You can be the knob. Ugh.
Space Marines.
Oh, that's gross. That Monday, that's gross right there. I don't want to hear about that.
Oh, Green Tide's going to be nasty because you're taking 120 boys and 18 Mega Knobs, and then you're just running at people all willy-nilly. Blah, blah, blah. Write that down. That's exactly how you should play them.
Re-rolling ones on a 2+ save seems pretty good.
Getting stuck in.
It's not that.
Lads.
Only the boys get a bunch of their buffs, and they don't have the boys keyword. So let's talk about Marines because Brandon is so excited about Marines.
This Eliminator nerf needed to happen, let me tell you.
Why the hell did Eliminators go up 10 points?
OP.
Are you serious? They were too good.
What did they do?
They were breaking the meta.
What did they do to deserve that?
Breaking the meta.
One time in 9th edition, they got played. So there's that.
Cancer. Hey, we need to talk about the hidden gem of Tactical Marines going down 20 points.
Bro, this army is OP. The Brutalis Dreadnought. You know what? The Brutalis is almost pointed, so I might play him. I do like the Brutalis quite a bit. Assault Intercessors with jump packs went down, which is kind of cool because a lot of people were throwing them in as their trash, and I like them going down. That's a real thing.
Let's see, how many points did they go down? They went down 5 points.
5 points.
For 5.
Yep.
Yeah. The Brutalis went down 15 points.
Yep.
It's not bad.
I still think he needs to go down another 15 before I'm playing him. Oh, you're definitely going to be hearing a ton of wogs. Why did the Land Raider Redeemer get touched? Oh, it's going to touch you.
Hellblasters went down.
Touched?
Hellblasters went down, Incursors went down. Incursors just be infiltrators. Just go away, Incursors. I guess you could use them for the plus, you know what I mean? For the combo, but I just don't really care.
Hellblasters went down 10 points.
Hellblasters going down actually makes me want to play them.
I could see this is entering the territory of being able to take 20 to 30 of them.
And he comes with, what do you think about Brute Spam, List, and Stormlance with Woofin Dreads, where you are charging with tons of mortals? I do love that on the table. It makes me excited that you would see just a bunch of insane people in giant armor coming at you. I would like to see the Brutalis go down 10 more points, but I do think it's playable at 160. I didn't think it was playable before.
That's a really good price point for that.
Well, it also it
is
bangs.
A 2 of save, toughness 9.
Well, it's got
attacks.
Well, it's got a ton of attacks that are high strength too. And I think that
chest mounted meltas.
And I do think that Hellblasters at 115 is tasty. I think this is the biggest deal, to be honest with you. The biggest buff that I've seen out of the Marines is Hellblasters for 115.
Like, I already was using unit of 10 with Azrael. This would 100% make that. You're definitely doing it now.
Yeah.
I really liked the Brutalis before. Like, I hope it does see play. It's just that a melee dreadnought is just kind of meh.
Yeah, but it's cool. How about that? There's a lot of cool factor.
Yeah, but can you kick it across the table at somebody? Not in real life, but like mechanically.
No.
That's what you need. You can't just walk across the table.
No.
It only moves 8. It only moves 8 inches. That's
I mean, Terminators and the Vindicator went down.
The Vindicator only went down 5 points.
I still think it's too expensive. But
I don't know why people are taking it now, and I don't know why people are taking it 175.
I've had Monday. I've had a couple people ask me that. We were talking about it at the team tournament down in Dayton last week, 2 weeks, I don't know, whenever the hell we were there. And people were talking about going double/triple redeemer. Taco Hellblasters with Storm of Fire and a Repulsor worth it now? Possibly, man. I just think that those guys, I was already on the fence about it, them in the first place. I think that they're 100% worth it for $115. I think that's a big deal. I might actually put multiple units of them in my army for that. I think that they're legit.
For Hellblasters, Azrael, well, you guys got to remember they have assault weapons too, so you can advance and shoot them all the time.
Yeah. So, how are you delivering the Hellblasters? You're adding characters, Lieutenant Pathfire. I'm not 100% sure on that because I kind of want the buff, but like you want multiple people to have Storm of Fire. That's the problem. You know what I mean? So, I'm not 100% sure on that. I just know that for that value and those guns, I think that's a good value.
So why do we think that Gilman did not get changed on points?
You're not allowed to talk about that. I don't know. It's annoying. It's just annoying. G-Man, he's paying for his 8th edition sins.
7th edition. 7th and 8th edition.
No, 8th edition is when he had the aura of reroll everything.
And he had it in 7th edition.
He didn't really exist in 7th edition. Space Wolves! Terminators and Scouts. Anything changes? Nope.
Just skip the next one. It's not real for 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks. Tau Empire!
Fake.
It's fake news.
Fake news.
Not real. Doesn't matter.
I kind of get why they didn't release the points, but at this point, they should have just released the points. It's been 2 months.
Dude, let's go to...
Let's just take a minute to look at the Forge World point values and know that none of these will be here in 2 weeks.
Well, that's hurtful talk. Why you gotta...
Ooh, no, I disagree. I think we'll have the Tau Supremacy armor. We will have the Manta, because that is totally valid as a choice. And maybe the Barracuda. But yeah.
Let's talk about real things. Like the fact that 1,000 Suns went down.
Yeah, crazy. What's going on?
But more people, well, I mean, TJ's going to be happy. So.
Dude, this is an army that's underrated, dude. Naden's taking it this weekend at BFS, and that makes me terrified because I'm assuming he's going to take 100 hours to play one turn because there's so many things going on, and he's the shenanigans master. But like, this is an army that puts out bonkersville damage, but completely loses damage when you start to lose pieces. So it's always walking that tightrope. But getting more stuff in this army is legit, man. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff that people were playing didn't go down, but nothing went up except for a couple of the enhancements. And you got things like Cultist, the Prince. I was saying the Terminators went down, but it didn't go up. And some of the stuff went down. And I think that this army is underrated. It can be so powerful if played correctly. 1K Suns top 4 now. I don't know where they are. It's hard to say on them, and because of the fact that what happens is like this army can crush people, but if you have a bad turn and you lose too many Cabal points, shit just starts going out of control. It snowballs pretty fast.
It is interesting to scroll down here, understanding their current power level, looking at all the green, and then being like, I wonder, because it's such a powerful turn 1, turn 2 army that could just bury you if you're not like screening properly or playing properly.
Double moves, double doom bolt, you know what I mean? All that shit's nuts.
But none of these changes allow you to get more Cabal points, though.
No, I'm just saying that they basically weaved most of anything, and a couple things went down. You know, if you're bringing Cultists and stuff like that, a lot of people are bringing the Prince. You know what I mean? So like it's a good army, and it didn't get touched negatively, basically. So
what is the points decreases on both the Prince with the Wings, the normal walking Prince, and the Terminators?
Let Brandon look that up. I'm gonna go to the wall real quick. Fitness. I think tac squads are legit now. They get 2 special weapons, so you could reroll them and make them super efficient in Iron Storm. Also, Brandon has a stupid face.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Brad.
Did I just add that?
The Occult Terminators went down 15 on 5, 30 on 10. Let's see. The Mauler Fiend went down 15. The Hellbrute went down 15. The Demon Prince with Wings went down 15. The Demon Prince normal went down 10. Cultist went down 5. So I mean, you're getting a couple extra points.
Yeah, like having some cursory knowledge of the faction. Like the thing, I don't give a shit about Mauler Fiends or Hellbrutes. I care about the Demon Prince.
You care about the Demon Prince, you care about the Cultists, and there's a possibility you care about the Terminators. Used to be a staple in that army. People went away from them so they could get more rubrics, so they could just generate more Cabal.
I mean, what is the point increase on the enhancements though?
It's only 5.
Vortex went up 10 points, and Forbidden Lore went up 10 points.
Oh, they're both 5?
Yes.
I thought they're both 10. I mean, so you're basically kind of breaking even, to be honest with you. I still think that this faction's fine.
Should we call Mannequin so we can talk about Tyranids? Because they're next. He's just in time.
He is. Barb Gaunt's going down. They needed to. Swarm Lord went down because, yes, Jesus, why not? Psychophage went down. Psychophage could have gone down way more. That model's terrible. Gargoyles went up. We knew that because they're the best unit in the entire codex. Tyranid Warriors went down because they have to, because they were terrible. Hive Guard, same thing. Zoe's went back down because holy shit, why did they go up so much in the last one? And the Lictor went back down because, yeah, man, shouldn't have touched him the last time. Like half of these things are things that went up in the last one.
A buff to 1,000 Suns is a buff to Sisters of Silence.
Yes, it is.
Oh, we got a wild crawly in here.
Uh-oh.
T-Sun's so strong.
I thought he was in a Polish jail. We didn't know if we were going to see him again.
No, I thought he was... Yeah, that's right. He's been captured. He's an enemy of the state now.
I think Tyranids needed a little bit more. Like, let's be honest. Why is the Trigon still $170? That's a goddamn...
I think the Norns should have come down like 20 to 25 points apiece.
Their big guys are just so wildly overpriced. He broke out. You forgot barb gods existed, Robert? The food was awful. Can concur. So, I agree. Barb gods needed to go. I think that this still needs more point decreases, to be honest. I just think the big guys need to come down like crazily. It's a
Old One Eye at 140 is a steal. You know what that guy does?
yeah. He regens. He also has a 2-up save. He also gives full rerolls to Carnifexes.
He's so good.
Yeah, I mean that is good. I'm just saying the rest of them, the Trigon. I mean, I would love to have the Toxicrin be like legit, but his model's unplayable. So because he's literally sticking his freaking tentacles straight out in each side, it's impossible to play.
What did Zoe's come down by? Were they 110 for 3 before, or did they go up and then come down?
They went up and then they came down. They went up
So
last
they
time.
to 120, or
Oh, they got really expensive. What is in the sheet, Granted?
Zoanthropes in January were 110.
Yeah.
yeah, so 10 points.
Well, it's 10 points, but they went up like 20 or 30 points originally to get there.
I thought they were
Zoanthropes are really solid though. Having played against them with Sean Rice using them, holy cow! Each one has a last cannon.
Yeah,
and they've
Yeah, they're really good.
and they also have multi-shot.
Blast.
Boom, boom. Click, click, boom, boom. So
drop all the big models by 50%, but raise gargoyles by 300 points. I mean that's a strategy.
So Gargoyles went up 10 points, or yeah, it's 10, or is it 15? Was it 70?
well, they went up twice.
Gargoyles were 80 in January.
Yeah, but they were.
I think
they were 70 before, were they not?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they went up twice. The last 2 times they went up.
Well, they're just far and away the best unit.
Oh, they're crazy. Let's talk about some world eaters, kids. Punch, punch, no
that's a
So
peeking.
I was chatting with Brian. The problem with world eaters, in his opinion, problem or opportunity, I guess, is that because of the stringent way you have to build your list, you're just not getting. Yeah, there's point savings, but you're not getting enough points to get enough units.
I can
So
see
you're
that.
still going to be down 40 to 50 points.
Because you're not bringing the Mauler Fiend, you weren't bringing the Hellbrute, you are bringing the Jackals, you're probably bringing the Zerks.
Yeah. You just, it's not enough points to actually change anything.
It would if you still had 30-point individual spawn.
Yeah. Or, the ability to take an 8-man squad or something instead of a 10-man.
Yeah. With the savings, could you get another unit of Jackals, though?
I think what he was talking about is doing something more like Anthony Vanilla's World Eater list compared to what he was wanting to do. But I think Anthony has 2 units of Jackals.
It's just the Jackals and the Zerkers going down. I'm just thinking that I could squeeze out another unit of Jackals. And Jackals are legit. I mean, Jackals are literally cultists on lots of PEDs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if cultists met Jackals in an alley, I'm pretty sure the Jackals are leaving the alley.
With their objective stickied.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. With their objective sticky and all of the cultist lunch money. So,
What is the points decrease? What is the points decrease on Berserkers? Was they 100 to 90? 95 to 90?
Berserkers were 100, so they went down 10. Jackals were 70, so they went down 5.
yeah, it's 15 points. I mean, you're probably taking 10 man, so 10, 20. It depends on what you're bringing. You get he's right on that. You do get an odd amount of points left over. Where,
Yeah, you are saving points, so your stuff is cheaper, but you're not having enough points to do anything favorable.
yeah, because you
So
effectively
you're gonna be at like an
30
odd
points.
1950 or something.
Yeah. You're gonna I was to say I think you went down 30 points with just that, so you're just like, maybe.
And you can't ally in bloodletters. You can't ally in anything else. So it's a weird amount of points that doesn't actually do anything.
You can ally in demons, big demons.
Nah, I mean,
No, you need a basic troop squad before you can ally in one of the big guys.
Yep.
So you're taking bloodletters.
No, you're not.
Give the Terminators, the Red Butchers ability, flesh out the faction more, give us real things to play with, and then we'll talk.
Oh,
Same thing with
Red
Votann.
Butchers Terminators would be awesome.
Who cares if they're 5 models for 180? They don't do anything.
Yeah. Also, yeah. I do.
So can someone explain to me 120 Jackals with Demon Prince?
He gives him a 4-up invul. And
That seems pretty legit.
It's like one guy plays the 120 jackals. It might be this person talking. It's like one time on the internet, one dude played 120 jackals.
I've seen some people talk about. I saw somebody put that out there. I don't know if it was 120, but he did do a prince and a shit ton of jackals. It is annoying when your trash has a 4-up invul, though. As someone that played Abaddon back in the day with cultist spam, it's pretty annoying to your opponent. gotta light those 4-ups. So mass jackals incoming, baby. They don't. They're just there. They get the World Eater bonus, so they will have the extra attack, of course.
+1 strength, +1 attack on the charge.
Yep. But I'm just saying, besides that, they're just Terminators. Oh, God damn it.
Coming in at the last moment.
Probability.
What is it, Brad?
199 super chat. Let me read it out for you guys. Almost missed you. Go blue. Fuckers. All right. I'm starting with Kyle. Biggest winners, biggest losers.
Biggest winners, probably it's tied between Thousand Suns and CSM. I really want to see CSM come back a little because they just got kicked to the. I almost swore bad. Kicked to the basement, and we don't like. Yeah, they were oppressive and annoying, but I just want to see them come back a little bit. Biggest losers, probably Necrons, unfortunately. Like I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think you're just going to see different builds and more varied builds come out of them. But like all of their points increases are pretty drastic. So if I was a Necron player, I would say I was the biggest loser today. But if I was any of the others, like if I was a CSM player, I'd be pretty happy. I am still pretty happy as a Demons player, so.
Is Brad yelling go blue because he just loves Ultramarines? That's what I tell myself when I have to scream go blue. Brandon, biggest winners, biggest losers.
I think the biggest winner is that one guy who is still using tactical marines.
Fucking Jesus. Fucking Brandon.
So, I would prefer to wait and see, and the reason being is we still don't know Tau points, and I think when we have Tau, we'll have a more complete vision of how armies are actually probably going to play out, because Tau could come in and change the meta a lot, or depending on the points, depending on what key units they lose, that could not have that big of an impact. I don't think Thousand Suns point changes are that impactful. Like the army is going to play exactly the same as it did before. Probably the same exact build, just with an extra 10 points.
Maybe that. Hold on, I got a $2 super chat. Lyle Dixon, did I get credit for getting BA nerfed? You were the sole reason BA got nerfed.
It had nothing to do with the guy in Cherokee or the guy in England.
Yeah, they said this one team tournament in Dayton, Ohio, this dude named Lyle, gotta stop him.
You have to.
So I if we're talking about winners with just this, Orks, hands down, probably the best army going forward. AdMech, I'm with you, Brad. I think AdMech are fine. It's just no one wants to play them because they have ugly models and they're too expensive. You get a lot of stuff with AdMech, though.
Agreed?
A lot of ugly, expensive stuff.
I mean, you're not wrong there either. So
I feel like Death Watch is going to get rolled into Inquisition. I think that's why.
I'm going. You know what? He can't. Don't steal my thunder on this. Biggest loser is Death Watch and Knights. I think both of them should have gotten point decreases or anything, and they got nothing. And I think that actually makes them the biggest loser.
Oh, yeah. I understand what you're saying. You are a big loser if you play those armies.
Oh, God. And this is the reason people tune in to hear Kyle's hot takes on you suck. Get good. So with whatever time we have left, if it's a minute, how good are you expecting new Codex Orks to be? I think they're going to be less than people think they are, because when I hear people's complaints, they're usually stacking detachments together. You know what I mean? I still think they're going to be very, very good. I mean, I'm also biased again because it's an army that I'm planning on playing and I like. So but coming out of the gate, I think that you're going to see Green Tide do really well, especially in team tournaments. I think you're going to see Bully Boys do well, especially people that really know how to utilize that when they're calling the wog, because you get double wog and it's a big deal. In that particular detachment, I also think you're going to see a shit ton of Mega Knobs do really, really well because you have 2 turns of a 4 Feel No Pain. So I think that's going to be super legit. So Custodes nice 2 worst in the game. Carly, I don't know about that. I think that Custodes, we're never going to get anything because their codex just came out. But I think that Knights and Deathwatch just didn't get anything. I think that Orcs are going to do really well. I think that the only thing with it is you're going to see a pop-off. I think a lot of people thought Dreadmon was going to be a lot better than it's going to be because of the fact that they put in Grot tanks into the sun. And they took away some of the stuff from Speed Freaks. So I think Orcs are going to be very, very good. I don't think they're going to be as dominant as people think. And that's just my opinion. And my opinion has been wrong several of the times.
So how do we think the meta is going to shift?
Personally, I think you're going to see more horde. You're going to have a wildly diverse army unless you're just going to roll the dice on what you're going to play into, because I think you're going to see more horde, but I still think you're going to see a ton of big shit. I think your army also is going to have to be able to deal with a shit ton of dudes with 2-up saves, because Mega Knobs are out there. All of that shit for Grey Knights is out there. You know what I mean? You've still got Custodes out there. You might not see them as much, but like there's a lot of armies that are just going to be rocking a bunch of dudes with 2-ups and 2-ups with invulns. So you're going to have volume of decent medium to high AP. And then you're still going to have all the times when you're playing all those vehicle armies. Those aren't really going anywhere either. You know what I mean? So you're going to see your gladiators. You're going to see your land raiders and shit like that. And you're going to see a decent amount of them. So your army is going to have to be more versatile than it's ever been. Because I do think you're going to see a decent amount of hordes coming out too. As we saw, we got a decrease in the points on a ton of units, infantry units, you know what I mean? Battle line and stuff like that. A lot of these infantry units got point decreases, and we got multiple detachments that just favor hordes. So you're just going to see them on the table. So you have to be able to deal with a volume, or to be able to put down a volume of shots to deal with those hordes. But also you have to be able to have decent enough AP. You're not going to be able to just spam AP 0 at these 2-up armors and do something about it. You're going to have a volume of saves. And that's not something that you want to either have like a couple multi-meltas either, because it's just not enough.
And do we have any advice for people who are trying to change their lists to reflect the new point values and still retain competitive lists?
It depends on what you're doing. There's a lot on this, man. Like, I think that, like, I'm just on the Marine page right now. I think Hellblasters are a good pick. If you're playing CSM, I got Cameron over here asking if we can date. I think that a lot of the CSM stuff went down, that you can just bring more stuff, because I do think that you're going to have more shots, and you have to have more shots that have some sort of AP attached to them. Crude Party. Dish, dish, dish. Is guard tank spam a real list or just a meme still? Guard tank spam is a real list, but you have to have enough infantry to back it up. You can't just go tank spam or people will just touch all your tanks. I'm going to fix your list. You know, I might fix your list tomorrow, to be honest with you.
What time tomorrow are you doing fixture lists?
I might just do it again at 1.
Okay. And where can people submit their list for you to help fix your list?
If Nightbot was working, I'd put it right there. But go to the DOG Discord under Brad, fix my fucking list. Specifically the channel.
What in the world is mass blah blah?
Mass blah blah?
You know what I mean? It's either a combo blah 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 or mass
There you go. Everyone in the chat who's not part of the Discord, there's your link.
Did you link me?
I linked it in our in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't.
Yeah, you can just click on it. What are we expecting to see, like, in the coming weeks? Move up and move down, or move, laterally?
Orcs are going to move up for sure, because right now they've had like 4 or 5 weeks in a row where they placed very poorly.
I think T-Suns are going to see a bump. I actually think Demons are going to see a bump because they're just losing some of the damage outright from some of these armies is going to make killing the greater demons harder.
I agree on that.
I think Necrons are going to stay roughly the same, but it's going to be Canoptic Court taking over.
I think Hypercrypt's going down quite a bit. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but like that's a lot of points they went up.
You can still Hypercrypt Doomsday Arcs, which is pretty cool.
So Elias wants to know, do you think there will be more diverse army compositions in competitive play now?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have people that are just still going to try to skew and just hope for it, but like you're just rolling the dice on what you're playing at that point in time. If you want to just say, screw it, I'm going to scissors, paper, rock the meta and just hope I only play the things that I can smash, that's legit. But for myself, I've always been a very make an army that can take on all comers. To do that, you have to make a very diverse list, because you're going to, again, have to have a volume of shooting, a volume of AP shooting, and things that take down big shit. So it's difficult. So it's going to make list building is going to be difficult, because you really have to figure out what's out there, because we've seen a lot of play from a lot of different things. We already have that in the meta right now, and it's going to just get even more difficult. So you really got to figure out what you're leaning into, and you don't want to water down your list. I've said this forever on this. Don't make your list 5% better against one thing to be 20% worse against all the rest of the things. I think
Brett is 1000% going Orks.
I was gonna go Orks anyways. Now that they actually have cool shit, I'm even more excited.
Cool shit with cheaper characters.
There's like one guy that's cheaper.
No, there's like 8 characters that are cheaper.
Who was all cheaper? The Beast Boss and the one mech. That's it.
No, Pain Boys were cheaper. The Squigosaur guy's cheaper.
Well, that doesn't count. He's a different character now.
The greater Squigoth is cheaper.
That's not even a thing.
Squigosaur, whatever that big bitch is called.
The last remaining Forge World model.
Yeah. I just want to point out that I swear to God, GW has like access to Crawley's digital diary, and every army that he's writing his fanfics about that he loves so much are just getting shit on immediately. It's like, boy, Dark Angels has really been treating me well. Punch.
Exactly. Only one character went down from last week. I've been trying to figure out these magical characters that you're talking about.
The document I'm looking at.
But on that note, Kyle, I'm coming down to see you in what?
Like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So, Kyle, what are you taking to that event?
Who knows? It's either going to be... It's between Demons, Death Guard, and Necrons, since we just got a big Necrons army.
Orks.
And for those of you who don't know, and there's still tickets available, look up the Mayhem GT in Mebane, North Carolina. It's run by Dean Pritchard. He's awesome. And it's going to be a 6-round tournament May 17th and 18th weekend. Brad's going to be there. I'm going to be there. And that's all you need to know. We're the 2 best.
Are you going to Rocky Top also?
Hell no.
I'm now going.
That's awesome.
You should go.
I'm dragging Brad Chester to Rocky Top Memorial Day weekend. It's a 3-day tournament. Looks like it's going to be 7 rounds now. And I have no idea what army I'm going to play because I still don't have points.
You know what I'm going to play? Orks.
Brad, can you bring me down a second Orc army?
Whoa.
I'll play Orcs.
There's 0 chance I'm bringing down any more. I'm mad that I might have to bring models, period.
I mean, you're going to have to because no one here has an Orc army.
This is, you know what? I'm canceling my plane tickets. Bringing models is dumb. I don't like that at all.
Paint Celestine, the Lion, and Gilman are still more expensive than all the Satans. For some reason. And he's still bad.
Good.
He's awful.
I mean, at least the Lion has a chance at fighting him. G-Man has to, like, watch from a booth. It gets
So
pretty.
last I checked, the lion, he halves damage, he heals D3 a turn.
He does none of those things
He has
anymore.
a 4 and then a 4 feel no pain, right? That's him?
Yeah.
He also
Sometimes-
also he makes 5 small lion bots form into one giant bot.
Oh shit. That sounds awesome.
So
So what Brad, when are you streaming next?
I might stream tomorrow.
Are you doing anything tonight because it's Thursday night?
Oh, Thursday will come on. I mean, I'm gonna just keep talking about this shit, to be honest with you. I wanted to talk about which orc detachment was the best this week, but then we got points. So yeah, I'll be on tonight, 7:00 Eastern Standard Time.
And then tomorrow you'll be fixing people's lists.
Yeah, I'm gonna make Andy's list less terrible. Just less terrible, not good. Just less terrible.
Let's see a new CSM list for tomorrow too.
Oh,
We
I
should
could do
submit
that.
one.
I'm gonna have Carmona make me a list.
Yeah, let him see into the future.
Get a Catan plus all plus delete them. And on that note, you know what? Let's keep it milky. Let's talk about things we're doing in the future. Go to Still Frosty Gaming. It definitely has a space between Still and Frosty. Everybody knows that.
I appreciate you doing that. So so I'm going to Rocky Top. I think Eloise is going to come out of 40K retirement, and she's going to go to Rocky Top. So she's ready to dominate everybody with cheap mortifiers, I think.
Nice.
After that, not entirely sure, but we're going to be streaming some stuff and content coming up soon because Eloise is going to have a little bit of free time in the month of May, so we're going to get her up to speed on how to play 40K
Nice.
and how to learn what the new meta is and new strategies. So we're excited about that.
If I want a display board, or if I want some bases in the awesome Brandon style, where would I go to find these?
If you go to stillfrostygaming.com or stillfrostygaming on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, where I'm actually working on a super top secret project this weekend.
Top secret.
Yeah. A very spontaneous project that I had no idea was going to pop up. I'm super excited.
This is Brandon.
Is my water still frosty? Technically, as of right this minute, I have 0 water because they're installing a hot water tank.
Nice.
So I had to book a hotel room last night in order to take a shower today.
I mean, that is a lie. You could have just taken the shower in your freezing cold water and just manned up on it. Oh yeah. Or either that, or just made your neighbors really weird by just going outside and hosing yourself off.
Oh yeah. I do actually have a lot of crude on my table right now, so
DA Groot.
I want to be prepared. If the crude points are reasonable, I will take a pure crude detachment
Yes.
at Rocky Top. If they're reasonably pointed.
2 Storm Surge plus Groot.
No, just only crude. Nothing else. Just crude.
Only Groot.
Only crude. Just like OnlyFans, but with sexy crude feet.
Ooh. Wow, that sounds gross. They have talons. Yikes. So
And that is a great note to end on.
that got weird. On that note, everybody, Queens wave it.
Thank you, everybody.
Stay milky.